and to make sure commerce between these states is proper. But that was really it, you know. And these people.
Hey Jim, you said it right on there. That's what we need. That's what's been lost in the mix with all this bullshit going on and all of this, you know, mind control with the media and everything, and all this, you know, Dancing with the Stars and all this junk. Is that it's getting lost? Is that the government is supposed to really only do basically two things. It's basically to protect our borders and to protect our liberty. That's it. It's not supposed to do anything else. Commerce, yeah, commerce. You know, protect the borders. You know, protect the flow of commerce. That just means that again is just mean that's like borders too. So it's a couple of, let's say three things.
People don't understand it because if you ever talk to a normal person, I'm not talking about like a person that is a right or a left, just a regular person that really, you know, just like you said, that watches Idol. You tell them that a birth certificate or a driver's license is actually unconstitutional, they'll look at you like you have three heads. If you actually really tell the American people that a standing army is unconstitutional, they won't even know how to respond to that. What do you mean a standing army? We're only supposed to have a navy. The U.S. government, the federal government, is not supposed to have a standing army. Standing armies were delegated to each state by militias.
Correct.
Not by no freaking big, huge military that the federal government can control, because the federal government could use that to take over each state. But they, you know, people don't get this. They're like, what are you talking about?
Well, that's what's happened. I mean, where do you think it's going to be? It's like, listen, you've got a couple of the states rights amendments, you know, the 10th Amendment movement, and, you know, there's some states that are really hardcore, and
well, look at Alabama. They're getting in trouble by the Fed because they want to have an immigration law. Look at California getting yelled at because they want to have legalized marijuana to be prescribed to certain people. You know, the government's like, well, you can make it legal. I don't care. We're saying it's not legal, and that's that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we're going to arrest you anyways. You know, what are you talking about? Who are you? They don't realize that the people and the states created the government. The government didn't create the states and the people. And that's what like you said before, we're so misguided, we're so lost. And a lot of it has to do with our education. And honestly, Howard, when I grew up, I was told everything different.
Oh, yeah, everyone was. Everyone learns different.
We were all sheep, and I believed, oh, go get a job, go to college, go get a job, and pay your bills, and buy stuff, and buy a house, and get a car, and just keep buying and keep working. You'll be fine. Well, guess what? We're not fine. I have a house, can't afford it. I'm working, living by paycheck. So you're telling me that this is how my life is supposed to be? Thank you.
That's what it is. It's get on the wheel. Get on the wheel. Get on the the mouse wheel. You know.
If you guys are sick and tired of this wheel, well, it's time to jump off of it. Because this is history being made right now in our country, in our world. This is history right now being made right now. You know, kids are going to ask us 15, 20 years from now, Dad, Mom, what did you do when the world was waking up? Did you do anything? Did you do anything to help my liberty and help my future? And people are honestly, I'm going to have something to tell my kids. I'm going to have a book. I'm going to have a treasure trove to tell my kid what I did. I hope everybody else does too, because, you know, just follow your heart and do something for your kids, because that's what I'm really worried about. My little kid, 2 years old, I'm not sure he's going to have anything, ever. Think there's going to be a job? There's nothing but jobs. There's no jobs in this country. We're jobs of service in this country. That's all we do now.
Well, listen, you know, it's funny you said the word service. This really frightened me also as well. That there are some local, there's a local paper here, and they're talking about, again, this whole school, the Torrington chapter of UConn, having you know, these service, you know, related careers, and they're promoting service related careers, and
because they know there's no manufacturing. They're not stupid. Yeah. What are they going to do? Teach somebody to create? When they get out of it, they're not going to be able to find any jobs like that, so no one's going to go into it. They're going to be like, all right, we're just going to make everybody either a nurse, computer tech, or you're going to be cleaning up garbage and working at McDonald's the rest of your life, because that's all we have.
Yeah, you know, it's very sad because, you know, it really amazed me because I was trying to find it, and I still can't find it, man. And I know it was broadcast because Obama did a commencement this year in April or May at Annapolis, and during it they had a valedictorian, the woman, the girl, and she's saying, you know, all about this stuff and how now we have to go out there and it is no longer, forget about manufacturing. I was freaking out, and I'm still looking for the YouTube clip, and I really I can't find it. She's saying that. Forget about manufacturing.
She was saying a lot more than that. She was talking about, she was actually.
Oh, you heard that one. You know, do you remember what I was talking? You remember that, right? You saw that?
Yeah,
I was like,
all white.
Yeah, and she was like, she was white, and she had, right, yeah, she had like short brown hair, and she was, you know, very preppy dressed, and she said,
well, type in, like, I'm going on YouTube, I'm not really too sure if it would come up, but I would type in valedictorian, New World Order, or something like that. And you could hear her, like you said, that where she really, like, for someone saying that in the graduation, blew my mind. I was like, damn.
Yeah, she's really saying that it's a that we have to forget about manufacturing jobs. This is a service economy. We have to go after service-related work. I'm like, what? And then they embrace it, you know, and they call this, and the socialists say, yeah, I want this for free. I don't want to pay $900 a month for health insurance. Well, nobody does. But it's a rigged game, and they're raping us all. The answer is not to put the government. The government's not the answer. Oh my God!
Right now, I don't even think. I don't know what needs to be done in this country, but we need to do a big flip-flop, honestly. But I'm not saying into the way where we just shut everything down and reset it. You know, but we need to do something. We're not getting any people in power that's trying to change our lives. You know, Obama's like, oh, I'm going to close Guantanamo Bay, and you know, I'm going to close the wars, and now they're expanding wars, expanding. Guantanamo Bay is still open. It's just out of control. And that's why I'm hoping that we could get Ron Paul into office, because Ron Paul is, like, honestly the only person that I've ever heard really stick to the guns. You know, it's just like anybody else. I mean, he's not my father. I don't know him personally, so I don't trust him 100%. Duh. I'd be ignorant if I did. I don't trust nobody.
There's a couple of things. A couple of things that are weird, and you gotta, like, you know, and you gotta keep take into account, you know, the.
Honestly, you want to talk about weird?
You know,
if I ever ran for, you think I was weird, so you know. But I have a vision in my head where I believe that we should have prosperity, and the government should be created the way it was intended. So I mean, just because we're all weird, it doesn't mean that.
No, I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying that he's got connections that people in the truth movement, for example, you know, identify as potentially, you know.
Like being based. Oh, he's a Mason.
Yeah, I know. And he's not. In fact, I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, he went on record stating that he's not a Mason, and he even wrote. You go to his website. He even signed it. He in his own handwriting, and he signed it. But
honestly, I don't care if he's a Freemason or not.
Yeah.
You know, it's really just because you're part of an organization. I mean, if that was the case, I mean, think about it.
I know, I agree with you. No, listen, I agree. I actually know, I worked with somebody who is a third-degree Mason. And I talk to him all the time, but he's aware of he knows, he knows what the 33rd degree is. He knows what the actual enlightenment is. And of course, you know, the enlightenment is that, you know, the light bearer is Lucifer. And that's the big secret. Or, you know, for anybody that's not aware what it is, and you know, that Lucifer, and it's looked at as you know, the God that they're talking about is not God that we know. That's a big problem with people that have studied the evil of the New World Order.
He talks the talk.
He certainly does, and he walks the walk. And then, but the skeptics, the skeptical truthers will say, well, it's all part of a big deception. Like some of them will even believe that if we end the Fed, that's going to be a deception too, that they actually want us to do that. So, I mean, there's a lot of opinions in this, but you'd be surprised that they're heavy opinions. They're not they're not just like from like one, you know, you hear like 10 people do it. I mean, there is a sort of an opposition to it, but I personally, you know, support Ron Paul, you know, because I believe in liberty, and I don't see anybody else doing anything. And he's so totally ignored by the media that how could you not understand why? So
now, what really disturbs me. Well, every candidate is honestly really disturbs me. I mean, they all have a real big issue I have with. You know, I just don't like any of them except for Ron Paul. But this Mr. Kane, this Federal Reserve puppet, is really disturbing right now. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, he's number one. Yeah, because Rick Perry fell out and hit the floor because they were all talking about his vaccine problem for a while there. Plus, a lot of people know he's a Democrat and a Republican in the Republican building. Yeah. And Michelle Bachmann, man, I would never vote for anybody that votes for a Patriot Act. I don't care.
Well, listen, Michelle Bachmann worked for the IRS. You have Kane, his 999, flip it over at 666, and he worked for he was the head of the Kansas City Fed. So come on, let's wake up, everybody. His name of his corporation that was ingratiated and became this tremendous success was Godfather Pizza. So yeah, come on, they're connected. These are connected people. Right.
And if you put exactly, and this is what you need to do, you go analyze each person's history. The only one that has any common sense is Ron Paul's. He's the only one that actually speaks about something and sticks with it. You know, you got Herman Cain. He doesn't know what he wants. One day he thinks we should audit the Fed, next day we don't. The next day he thinks the Fed should be reauthored.
Yeah, they all flip-flop. That's true. Yeah.
What one are you doing, buddy? Pick one. But you know what's really funny about Mr. Cain there is if you go on his website, he has no contact numbers. The only way to get a hold of him is you have to leave an email, phone number, and your name for them to get back to you. Yeah, I find that very disturbing. You know, I think you should have an open line so people can call and find out policy.
That gives you an idea. That gives you an idea where he's coming from.